Hey YouTube, my name is Samantha and we are going to pick my June TBR today. I pick this game and kind of develop it after watching several people on how they've set their TBR when I started doing the Herkid. Some of you may know that. So what we decided to do was I made TBR cards. I handwrote these. And my daughter, who is an avid reader with me, wanted to be a part of picking my TBR and kind of tortured me a little bit. So what we do is we pick a TBR prompt and then we both pick a book for that prompt. And then we play basically war with Uno cards to see whose book won. So a couple of things are, if you get a wild or anything that makes the other person draw cards, not only do you automatically win, but you get to add another book at the end to my TBR. No prompt needed. The second thing is if you get a skip or a reverse, you automatically lose. And then I think that's all the basic rules. So reason we started doing this is I have like a ton. These are all books that I own and have not read yet. So in order to keep me focusing on the backlog books, we make sure that we pick some books for me to read off my physical TBR so I don't get distracted by too many new and shiny books. I usually read at least 25 books a month. I read a lot, and summer's coming. You would think I would be more outdoorsy, but I'm not. Obviously, my hobby is reading. So I do get a lot more read in the summer as well. So we're probably gonna pick 10 to 15 books depending on the size of some of the books, so we'll kind of play that by ear. But let's draw our first prompt. So first prompt that we got is last month new release or new purchase. So we're gonna go pick some books and then I will share that with you. So for last month new purchase, new release, I picked Fury Bound. I just got both of these books in a matching set for Mother's Day, and I read the first one a long time ago with That Girl Reads Jamie's book club, and I enjoyed it, so I'm really looking forward to reading the second one. My daughter, she picked up Bloodbound. This one's really popular right now. I got this from Book of the Month. It was one of their special edition sprayed ages. This one's really popular right now, so I'm really excited to read both of these. And when it came to the flips, I automatically lost. My daughter got a +2, so her book is winning and going on my TBR plus. She got a +2, so she can add another book to my TBR at the end of the video. So let's go ahead and draw our next prompt and see what we're looking for. Next is verb in the title. A verb. All right, let's see what we can find. All right, YouTube, so for verb in the title, I picked up Fundamentals of Being a Good Girl. This is a beautiful book that I got from Owl Crate. And my daughter picked Anderson's and Bloom. Both of these are good picks. So let's see who won. So I got a 4. I'm gonna flip yours over. And she got a 9. She always kills me in this game. All right, so we're going to be adding Anderson's and Bloom. This is an LGBTQ book. This is about a former child star who goes home and obviously falls in love. Very cute. I think we got this as a blind date from Blush and Bindings bookstore. They're an independent bookstore that's currently mobile but opens their own store here in Indianapolis in August. So very excited for them and excited to add this to my TBR. So let's see what the next TBR card is. Next we have Weapon on the Cover. Okay, for Weapon on the Cover, I picked up A Serpent of Wings at Night. I haven't read these yet. These are supposed to be really good. There's 4 of them out now and a novella. The 5th one may or may not be out. But I've been dying to start these series, so that's, and we've got the beautiful sword on the back. My daughter picked Something Wicked, and you can see there's a dagger right there in the middle. This looks to be an enemies to lovers romance. This is one of the ones we got. That's because it was beautiful. So let's see who won. I flipped over a lose automatically, and she flipped over a lose automatically. Usually when we tie, we add both, but I've never tied on a lose. Let's flip another one because we got extra cards. So we're just going to flip again. I got a 1 and she got a 6. So she wins. We're going to be reading Something Wicked. Let's see what the inside says. The country of Avon is in deep turmoil. The uprising has overthrown Avon's monarchical rulers, and the decree has been issued. Candidates for the first presidential election will be selected by a completion of a special task, killing the former monarch of their home province. All right, that's going to be interesting. So this one gets added to my TBR, and the Serpents and the Wings, maybe for another card. All right, so let's see what else we got. Next, we need a pink book. So let's see what we can find. All right, book talk for YouTube. For the pink book, I picked The Wicked Sea. This is a mermaid retelling. I'm really excited about that. Little Mermaid was one of my favorites when I was growing up. And of course, I've got a beautiful Allure version that I got in the mail. And then my daughter picked up the Love Con. So we're big con goers. We get a lot of independent author books there. I grew up with a comic book collector for a dad. So this is so much fun. So I'm excited about either one of these. So let's see. I got an instant lose. I think she stacked the deck. She got a +4. So we're reading the Love Con, which, you know, honestly, I'm excited about that. And she'll get an additional book. So let's see what our next prompt is going to be. Our next prompt is mythology-based book. That's a really good one for us because we have a lot of really good books. So let's go pick some books. All right, so for a mythological-based book, I'm going to put Ariadne. This is Sisters, Lovers, Traitor, Hero. I read her other book, Medea. I read her book, was it Medea or Hera? It was Hera. I read her first book, Hera. Already this year. I think it was on my list. Yeah, it was on my list of 26 and 25. As I was reading that one, I found this one at the used bookstore and I picked it up because I was like, well, heck, I should read the next one. So I picked this one, and then my daughter, of course, picked The Song of Achilles. I'm very excited to read this one. I started reading again right after this song, and Circe was like getting popular, and there was so much to read, so I never got around to him. So I'm very excited to read that as well. So let's see who won. I think she stacked the deck. This is my 4th one in a row. And she got another book. All right, guys. This is not it. Okay, let's see what the next prompt of books my daughter will be picking for me to read next month. A standalone is the TBR thing. So we're going to pick probably a romance because a lot of those are standalones. So let's see what we can find. All right, so for standalones, I think this is a standalone, but I picked Battle of the Bookstores. It sounds really cute and fun. Bookstores make me think springtime. So this is my pick for standalone. And then she has picked this Agus Eberts. This is the Mystical Cat Shelter. We think this is standalone. If you may recognize her, she wrote the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. And so this is about a mythical cat shelter. Very cute. So let's see which of us won. All right, I finally won one. I got a 6. She's got a 2. I win. So we will be reading The Battle of the Bookstores. Despite managing bookstores on the same Boston street, Josie Klein and Ryan Lawson have never interacted much. So sounds really cute. Very excited to read that. And so let's see what our next prompt is. The next one is over 600 pages, so we're looking for big boys only next. So let's see what we can find. All right, so 600 was kind of hard because my big boys are like series that I'm reading with groups. But so I went with The Shadow of What Was Lost from James Ingleton. This is the trilogy that he wrote before he wrote The Will of the Few. No, Will of the Many, Strength of the Few. So this is his first trilogy, the first book of his other trilogy that was out before Will of the Many. So I picked this up because I loved the Will of the Many. And so I was interested in checking this out. I actually think this was a Mother's Day gift last year. So, or a Christmas gift or something. So I got this one, the first book of this series. This is a completed trilogy, so I will be giving myself some series, but sounds good. And then my daughter picked up A Day of the Fallen Night. I did already read The Prairie of the Orange Tree, and I did quite enjoy it, so good time to follow up and read this. So let's see, I won't be upset with either one of these, so let's see who we're reading. I got an 8 and Shiva. Another call. So I will be reading A Day of the Fallen Knight. I think this is a prequel to The Prairie of the Orange Tree. That was really a really good book. I like going into books kind of blind a little bit, and honestly, I picked it up because I heard it was good, and she shares my name. So I am looking forward to reading this one. I quite enjoyed the other one, so it's a good pickup. So let's see what our next prompt is going to be, and it is a male author. Most people put female author in their book, but since 99% of the books I read are female authors, for some reason, I don't know how it worked that way, it is rare for me to find a male author, so let's see what we can find. Alright, so I am going to pick Cold Days from Jim Butcher. I'm reading Ghost Story currently with my husband in the month of May, and we'll be done with that, so I'm adding the next day. I accidentally added this to May when I forgot that I still needed to read Ghost Stories, so I'm going to try to get this one added onto my June, and that is my pick. And my daughter picked The Demons That Haunt Him. This is a book that we picked up at FanCon in New Orleans this year. This was self-described as Dresden if he was a redneck meth addict. So my daughter thought that was hilarious because she loves Dresden. So this is The Battle of the Dresdens, the original and the copy. So let's see which book is going to be on my TBR this month. She stacked the deck. I'm throwing this whole TBR out the window. This is ridiculous. I got a 1 and she got another wild. I will be adding The Demons That Haunt Him. This is probably a good read to start reading now. I am going to Dragon Con in September, and I know the 3 gentlemen that were sharing a booth in which we bought these books from is going to be there, so it'd be nice to read some of their books before we go to that con. So there we go. That is the next book. So let's see what the next prompt is, and it is one-word title. So we'll go and do that. So I picked up Dreadful. This is by Caitlin Rosix. I have 2 of her books, and there's a 3rd one that she just came out with that her titles are so good. So I want to read some, so I know if I want to read more. So I'm going to be picking up Dreadful for my pick. My daughter is going to be picking Reclaimed. I'm reading Rejected in May. So this is the 2nd book in that trilogy is out right now. I don't know how many books are in there total. These got official publication with beautiful sprayed edges, and my daughter likes shifted romance, so we have those. So let's see how we did. I finally got a wild. I finally won one, guys. This is super exciting for me. So yeah, we're gonna read Dreadful. It's bad enough waking up in a half-destroyed evil wizard's workshop with no eyebrows and no memories and no idea how long you have before the dread lord of whomsoever it is shows up to murder you horribly. Then you turn your skull into a goblet or something. It's a lot worse than you realize that dread lord whomever it is you. So sounds fun. Her writing sounds just hilarious, and I think that's exactly what I need on this TBR over here. So that is our next pick. So let's see what possibly our last one. This I think will be our 10th card, but considering we have 6 add-ons, 10 I think is enough. So it's a gray book. That's going to be a little difficult, but I think we'll find something. So let's see what we can find. All right, for gray book, I picked Local Woman Missing. I had this one for a little while. It's supposedly really good. One of those early on to my book life. It was really popular and I never got to it. So I'm picking this book. And then my daughter brought back up The Serpent Wing of the Night, because if it gets picked, she'll be using her cards to add the rest of the series to my list. So let's see who won. And I got another auto lost. So she wins with a measly 3. So I will be reading This Serpent in the Wings of the Night, which is great because I've really been wanting to get to all of them, the whole little series. I think I have the first 2 duologies and the novella. So I've been really wanting to get to these anyway. I know the 5th book is out, but it's another duology series, and the 6th book of that is coming out soon too. So I really wanted to get to these. So this will be going onto my TBR. Pause it. All right, so we picked out our books for our wilds. I had 1, and I'm going to add this Fury Bound book to my TBR because I really want to read that this month. So I'm really excited to read that. She ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books to add to my TBR. The good thing is that she is usually nice to me when she does this, so she went ahead and added the rest of that Nixian Crown series that I have. So I have the second book from the Serpent, and then I have the second duology, and then I have this novella that I picked up. So I do have the rest of these. This is 4 of her picks to go onto my TBR, and then she picked the Daisy Flower Shop, which just came out. This one, I read the whole series, so reading this one just keeps me current. So I love being able to do that as far as new releases, keeping current on series that I'm already in. That way I don't fall behind. So those are the add-on books that we just picked. And so as they're falling over, let's just kind of do a full run through of all the books that will be starting out my May TBR, my June TBR. It's a big stack, so let me push those over so they don't fall off the table. So I'm going to run through them all and give a brief synopsis. Other things that are on my TBR is I am currently reading the Zodiac Academy Solar Journey with a couple of friends. So I'll have 2 books probably from that I'll want to read this month. We've been doing 2 a month, but I've been slowing down a little bit to wait for the others. So I don't know if I'll be reading 8 and 8.5 in June, or if I'll be reading like 9 and Live and Let Lionel. So we'll have to see. I need a drink. Pause it. We'll just start. So let's run through all the books that went on there and a little bit about all of them. So we'll just start. This is not in order. This is Anderson's in Bloom. This is a LGBTQ friendly romance between a child star named Andy. First name's Anderson, and she goes home to kind of hide out after some LA drama and florist. It's a nice time. Nice, cute, light romance. This was our mythological. I got the Song of Achilles. This is a long time wanting to read kind of situation. I haven't read Circe either, but I don't own that one, so it'll have to be an independent, curious read. I don't think I have to read Circe before I read this. I think they're independent. But you know, maybe both of them magically get read this month. So Song of Achilles is on the list. The Battle of the Bookstores, a nice little romance between 2 bookshop owners. It's got You Got Mail written all over it. Very cute. Very excited to read Dreadful. I haven't read anything from her yet, but her titles are hilarious. Her blurbs are hilarious. I think this will be a really nice, fun time to read in between some of my bigger books. I'm going to read The Serpent in the Night Wings. When I read this, obviously, I have the rest of those books that were added, which is, we've got The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, The Songbird and the Hearts of Stone, The Fallen Kiss of Dusk, and then I have The 6 Scorched Roses. So I will be probably like spending a long weekend plowing through all of those at one time. That way the story feels really good and connected. I've got the Daisy Chain Flower Shop. These are nice buffers in between bigger books. So I've got that to read, which will finish that series and keep me caught up. I've got some big boys, Fury Bound. I know everybody who read Dire Bound is excited about that one. I got the A Day of the Fallen Night from Samantha Shannon. This is another chunker of a big boy. I think this is my over 600 pick. It is going to be a good read. We've got The Love Con, a nice little romance about 2 people who meet at a con. Should be really fun. I love going to cons and meeting new people. We've got Something Wicked. This is one of our books we picked up just because it was beautiful. And an enemies to lovers kind of series going on. I've got the extremely popular Bloodbound from Elsie Hunter. Dragon writing. And then last but not least, we're going to read The Demons That Haunt Him. This is an indie author who we met at a con. This is the first book to their series that they describe as like Dresden Files, if he was a redneck on meth. So I think this is actually a compilation. I think this is this the one that has the first 3 books that he wrote in this series in one book? So it's a good sized boy, and I'll be reading that. So that's a lot of reading I will be doing in June. So see you later, YouTube.